Let me make sweet logic to you. Hello and welcome to another late night review. Tonight we have Generations Fall Cybertron Shockwave. But we'll start out with robot mode. And so he has, like most of the other toys I own, he has very good amount of detail, and thankfully you can see a little bit of his light piping. Oh my god, I love the light piping. That's so awesome. It's probably the best light piping I've ever seen. And yeah, but he has good amount of detail. It's like if you squeak his head a little bit inside his chest can glow a bit because it's light piping too, so that's cool. But there's not much glowing on him as well. Okay, articulation. He's as you can see, there's no movement of the head because part of his transformation is that his hides his head. But also no hip movement, but he has okay movement in the legs. No ankle joint, but you just have like that thigh swivel thing and good amount of movement in his legs, like that. Good amount of movement in his arms. You can Heil Hitler and do that, or I guess it's Heil Megatron. But that's pretty much all. It's pretty much just his limbs that you can move. No hip or anything like that. So meh. And then the most disappointing thing about this toy, the gun. Mostly the problem is that it has this little handle. See that little nub of a handle. Little nub of a handle. Can barely fit into. There we go. So, and it doesn't, as you can see, it doesn't go flat against his arm, which I find disappointing because when you think of Shockwave, he has a whole arm of a gun. That's pretty much his motif. Whole arm is a gun. There's no weird gap going on here. But I'll give it props that you can choose which arm his gun goes on, because I know throughout the generations and different shows the gun switches from side to side, so at least you could choose what side it gets to be on. But I wish it was more against his arm, so it looks more part of his arm than just a gun. But yeah, and then another thing that's disappointing about this gun is that it easily comes apart. And part of the transformation, it has, if it's all the way down, fine, no, it kind of goes up. But as soon as you unpeg it, like that, of course it isn't doing that, but yeah, falls right off. It doesn't take that much. I mean, that's how it is, and then that's how much has to be off for it to be. Yeah, so that's a major downfall of this toy is the gun, and the gun is a big part of Shockwave. About a fourth of his body is a gun, and they didn't have any stopping mechanism or anything. Like, just, I mean, I wouldn't make that big of a deal, but Shockwave. Oh, Shockwave. You're illogically logical, or logically illogical. I'm not sure which one yet. Okay, so now we'll do the transformation. Well, I'm sure as you can kind of tell from my transformation transition. Ooh. This guy is a little tricky to transform when it gets to his legs. Cause again, the gun, you have to get it back, you have to, what's the word I'm looking for? You have to expand it to the point of like no return where it just slides off. And it's really tricky to get it into the little slots in between his legs. So it makes it kind of frustrating to get him fully transformed once you get down to his lower body. But just look at this guy. That's a pretty awesome alt mode. I mean, it does one of the things I really love when what Transformers do is they incorporate the weapon into the alt mode. And if you looked at this, you wouldn't be able to tell which one was his gun until he transformed into a robot. I mean, I think that's excellent. I mean, a lot of times the Transformers, they just like with Sideswipe or Ultra Magnus, they just kind of stick one to the side or animated Soundwave to stick at the top, which I get it. You can't find another way to incorporate it, but I just think it's really awesome when the whole robot can work in both modes, and it can, the weapon can easily fit into those both modes and looks great. If only that gun wasn't so. But again, you can see this is a little chest, and there's this little pew pew. Sadly, there's no light pipe. There's light pipe in the gun, but it doesn't work as well. Oh, it comes back to the gun. But other than that, that looks like a pretty awesome death machine. It almost makes me want to get the Autobot version of the repaint, Autobot repaint. I forgot what his name was, but there's an Autobot repaint of this guy. And this also makes me, like, they could be twins. Like, the good twin and the evil twin. Shockwave, why would you do that? It's only logical, my twin. But yeah, I say, if you get this toy, you'll like it. But if you pass it up, you'll be slightly disappointed. Funny story is that I actually got this for BotCon this coming June 2013, or if anybody watching in the future. And I was going to have the voice actor from the Transformer Prime who plays Shockwave. His name escapes me. I'm sorry. I was going to have him sign because at the time there wasn't the Prime toy of Shockwave wasn't out, the Beast Hunters, and just like 2 weeks ago, I bought this toy about like a month and a half ago, and 2 weeks ago I found out, oh look, it's out. I'm like, and I don't have enough money to buy him, so I'm gonna draw a picture instead. So yeah, that's my funny story of the night. So I said pick this guy up. He's pretty cool. I had this very dramatic scene with him in a magnet on my chest of drawers. It's very dramatic. Makes me feel great in the morning. So yeah, that's my review. I say get this toy if you have the money. Alright, so see you next week, everyone, and have a good night. Bye. Sweet, sweet logic.